As the plane touched down in Africa, Amelie's heart raced with excitement. She and her friends were greeted by a local guide at the airport, who would accompany them on their journey. After an hours-long drive that jostled them from side to side on rough terrain, they finally arrived at their hotel. The guide warned them repeatedly not to venture into the jungle alone, emphasizing the dangers of doing so. As they drove through thick trees and foliage, Amelie's eyes scanned the surroundings until they landed on a large dark spot in the distance. Her heart skipped a beat, as she realized it was something ominous lurking in the shadows of the jungle. The shadow began to move towards Amelie. It soon became clear that this was a huge gorilla. The animal was clearly unhappy with the violation of the boundaries of its territory. The monkey's face was distorted by a grimace of anger. Sharp fangs protruded from his mouth. Suddenly the animal shook its head and began to approach again. Amelie jerked to the side, but pain shot through her leg. She remembered the main rule when meeting a bear: pretend to be dead. Amelie lowered her hands and lay down on the ground. She hoped that the gorilla would quickly lose interest in her. Amelie closed her eyes and tried to breathe as quietly as possible. Soon, a sniffling sound was heard above Amelie. The animal walked around Amelie in a circle, sniffing carefully. The gorilla touched Amelie's arms and legs. When it touched her injured ankle, Amelie could not hold back a muffled groan of pain. The beast immediately withdrew its hand, and then abruptly threw Amelie over its shoulder and dragged her somewhere. Everything inside Amelie broke down. She decided with horror that she was being dragged into the lair to be eaten for lunch. At this moment, Amelie regretted her lack of preparation. She had no idea what gorillas eat, and didn't even do any research on the fauna before the trip. There was no question of resistance or escape. Therefore, Amelie grabbed onto the thick fur on the animal's back so as not to fall to the ground. The gorilla dragged Amelie into a small cave and threw her to the ground. The girl hit herself painfully, breaking the skin on her knees and palms. She immediately turned to face the animal and pressed her back into the stone. Amelie tried to become small and inconspicuous, but she could not press her injured leg. However, the gorilla didn't care much about this. The beast settled down near the entrance to the cave and watched the rain. The animal did not approach Amelie, and did not even look in her direction. Amelie stirred. Without waiting for a reaction, she decided to escape. Amelie knelt down and crawled towards the exit. It was painful and uncomfortable. She focused on the unpleasant sensations, so she did not notice the gorilla's rapid movement. The animal suddenly appeared in front of her, bared its sharp fangs, and let out a deafening roar. Amelie's blood froze in her veins with horror. The powerful muscles of the animal rolled right before her eyes. Amelie understood that she did not have a single chance against such a strong opponent. The gorilla pushed Amelie on the shoulder, driving her back to the wall. As soon as Amelie returned to her place, the animal calmly settled down at the entrance and again stared at the wall of rain. At that moment, Amelie was struck by a hunch. The gorilla was not attacking, but saving her. The beast took her to a safe, dry place and is now protecting her. Who knows what predators are roaming nearby? They won't go up against the gorilla. This means that no one will touch Amelie. Then the girl breathed out a sigh of relief and remembered about the phone. She reached into her backpack under the curious gaze of the animal. The phone, like the entire contents of the backpack, was wet, but Amelie tried to dry it. The device flashed a signal. Amelie breathed a sigh of relief, dialed the rescue service, and explained the situation she was in. She was asked to stay where she was, keep her phone on, and wait for rescuers. The gorilla watched the conversation with interest, but did not show aggression. Amelie wanted to somehow thank the animal. She took out her food supply and handed it to the gorilla. It looked at the bread with disbelief. Amelie broke off a piece, put it in her mouth and chewed it thoroughly. The animal realized that it was being offered food, took the treat, and immediately crunched on the snacks. A few hours later, Amelie was found by rescuers. By that time, the fear of the gorilla had completely disappeared. When the beast turned towards the girl, Amelie just threw her backpack over her shoulders. The animal lifted Amelie onto its shoulder and carried her out of the cave into the clearing. The gorilla moved away and then quietly disappeared between the trees as soon as people appeared nearby. The relief and gratitude Amelie felt towards the gorilla were overwhelming. It was a powerful moment of connection between two beings in the heart of the African jungle. Please feel free to share your thoughts below in the comments section. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video.